The architectural style of St John Smith Square has always provoked a reaction in the viewer, although not always complimentary. An 18th century commentator thought the new church singular, not to say whimsical, and later Charles Dickens described it in Our Mutual Friend as appearing to be some petrified monster, frightful and gigantic, on its back with its legs in the air. However, tastes change, and today St John's is regarded as one of the masterpieces of English Baroque architecture. The building was designed by Thomas Archer. We know that his family were country gentry, but nothing is known about his architectural training. While his contemporaries included Vanbrugh and Hawksmoor, Archer's style owes most to the Italian influences he experienced on his grand tour, primarily that of Borromini. Writing in 1981, Sir Hugh Casson describes the building thus: "The plan is squarish and almost symmetrical, but like all Baroque churches, the interlocking pattern of the internal spaces is ambiguous, so that you can see and comprehend the church centrally or longitudinally, as you prefer. The outside is such a turmoil of movement that you could almost say there are no walls or windows, only a composition of classical elements, columns and cornices, moulded pediments and heavily modelled towers. Archer handles all this with an energy, courage and confidence which is irresistible. Admittedly, it looks a bit too large for the space it occupies, rather like some great piece of machinery that has been parked in this tiny domestic little square of brick-faced houses and white sash windows. But this architectural outside swagger is part of its fascination. It positively challenges you to take it on full face, and on all four faces. Once up the grand steps and through the doors, the contrast is complete. All within is quiet simplicity, a lofty, spacious emptiness filled with a pale, clear light. There is no stained glass. White walls contrasting with a scarlet curtain and a dark, polished timber gallery. Giant white painted Corinthian columns carrying a simple barrel-vaulted roof. It's all as cool and quiet and evocative as the inside of a seashell. But there's another surprise to come. Beneath the church, and reached by stone spiral stairs in the corner tower, is another architectural mood, the crypt. Low brick vaults, hardly more than head high, a sense of weight and gravity. No wonder, under the weight of so much masonry, the church began to sink into its marshy site while it was still building. In 1710, the long period of Whig domination of British politics ended as the Tories swept to power under the rallying cry of "The Church in Danger." Under the Tories' plan to strengthen the position of the Anglican Church, and in the face of widespread damage to church buildings after a storm in November 1710, Parliament concluded that 50 new churches would be necessary in the cities of London and Westminster. An Act of Parliament in 1711 levied a tax on coal imports into the Port of London to fund the scheme, and appointed a commission to oversee the project. Archer was appointed to this commission alongside, amongst others, Hawksmoor, Vanbrugh and Wren. The site for St John's was acquired from Henry Smith, who was also treasurer to the commissioners, in June 1713 for £700, and building commenced immediately. However, work proceeded slowly, and the church was finally completed and consecrated in 1728. In total, the building had cost £40,875. St John's famous nickname, Queen Anne's Footstool, was coined early in its history. The story goes that Thomas Archer consulted the ailing Queen Anne about his designs for the new church. The Queen, not noted for her interest in architecture, petulantly kicked over her footstool, pointed at its upturned shape and snapped, "Like that!" For the next 213 years, the Church of St John the Evangelist served the surrounding parish, although the life of the building appears somewhat accident-prone. In 1742, the year before Archer's death, its interior was damaged by fire and required extensive restoration. In 1773, it was struck by lightning, and in 1815, the towers and roof had to be shored up. Finally, on May 10, 1941, the church was directly hit by an incendiary bomb and gutted by fire during a bombing raid on London. Subsequently, the church stood a ruin open to the sky for over 20 years. The building was saved by the determination and dedication of Lady Parker of Waddington. She formed the Friends of St John's in 1962 to raise money and restore the church to its former splendour and to Thomas Archer's original design for use as an arts centre. Work began in 1965 and the inaugural recital was given on October 6, 1969 by Dame Joan Sutherland and Richard Bonning, who also gave a 20th anniversary recital in October 1989 in aid of the organ appeal, both in the presence of St John's then royal patron, HRH the Princess Margaret. St John's receives no state or local authority subsidy. It relies entirely on income from concerts and recordings, and also on the generosity of charitable trusts, companies and individuals to survive and develop its facilities. In 1986, an appeal was launched to raise funds to commission and install a fine new concert organ to be housed in an historic case made in 1734 by Jordan, Byfield and Bridges, and brought from a redundant church in Great Yarmouth. Simon Preston was the consultant, and Johannes Kleis of Bonn installed the excellent new concert organ in 1993. In 2010, St John's completed a major project costing £1.4 million to make the building accessible to all. Since its rebirth as a concert venue, St John's Smith Square has come to be regarded internationally as one of London's major concert halls. Its fine acoustic is suitable for nearly all forms of music, and its versatility in terms of space enables it to accommodate a wide range of music without losing its special atmosphere of elegant intimacy. It hosts concerts by the widest range of artists imaginable, internationally renowned singers and chamber musicians, solo instrumentalists, professional chamber orchestras and choirs of the highest calibre, fine amateur choirs and orchestras, both adults and school, as well as popular music, artists and bands.